It's an urge almost all of us have experienced. You see a button and you push it. We do this every single day. The only problem is, a lot of those buttons don't actually do anything. This is a scene from Shawn Levy's film Night at the Museum. It was released in 2006, which means that despite his best efforts, mashing that closed door button actually did nothing to aid Ben Stiller's escape. That's because since 1990, almost all closed door buttons on elevators have been made non-operational. This is because of the Americans with Disabilities Act, which was signed into law on July 26, 1990 by President George H.W. Bush. The law required elevator doors to remain open for a period of time long enough for disabled people using crutches or a wheelchair to get on board. In the US, this means that elevator doors must stay open for a minimum of 5 seconds, and no amount of pushing, prodding, or button mashing is going to make them close any faster. Since most elevators have a lifespan of 25 years, almost all elevators today would have been built after this law was passed in 1990. And since most elevators are built in or shipped to the United States, almost all manufacturers build their elevators with these regulations in mind. Meaning that button's not gonna help. But buttons that don't do anything, or placebo buttons, are everywhere. Case in point? New York City, home of Lady Liberty, the Stock Exchange, and inoperable crosswalk buttons. They're almost as iconic as the city skyline, and will feature in almost every single establishing shot of the city. But as the New York Times reported, the city deactivated most crosswalk buttons decades ago with the rise of computer-controlled traffic systems. As of 2016, only 120 of 3,250 walk buttons were still functional. Outside of the United States, and the majority of traffic lights run on a system known as split cycle offset optimization, which means that the cross button is only going to be operational during off-peak hours. Where I live in Brisbane, Australia, this button is only ever going to work between 12 AM and 6 AM. The same goes for Hong Kong and parts of London, where there's more than one placebo button to look out for. So, if these buttons don't actually do anything, why do we keep them? Well, in the case of New York, it was simply too expensive to replace them. But for the most part, these placebo buttons play a vital role in our everyday mental health. This is Ellen J. Langer, a psychology professor from Harvard University, who, in 1975, coined the term illusion of control in her paper published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. It's this illusion of control that's one of the main reasons why placebo buttons exist. They make us feel great.
Looks like a Christmas tree.
With the example of the elevator, when you press the closed door button, your brain, rightfully so, anticipates that the door is going to close. And even if that button had no mechanical effect on the door closing whatsoever, when it eventually does, your brain still rewards you for that accomplishment with a rush of endorphins. So go ahead, push, jab, and poke to your heart's content, because at the end of the day, although these buttons may not function, that doesn't mean that they don't serve a function.